Issues and trends impacting the retail sector are front and center now in Zacks Retail Spotlight. Seasonal as well as economic factors combine to make for disappointing June retail sales. Here now to elaborate a bit is retail analyst Rob Plaza. So we had higher unemployment than expected come out. We had spring-summer weather that really wasn't conducive to summertime sales or sales of summertime merchandise. That didn't help either, did it?
Well, I saw more headlines that blame the weather on the bad sales than I did what the real problem is, and it's the jobs. People just aren't, unemployment is growing, people are out of work. They're worried about finding that next job and being able to buy something.
So because of all of that, shoppers then just continue to trade down as they had been before.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag in terms of expectations, but really the stocks or the companies that did well were on all on the discount side.
Apparel, probably, as I understand it, apparel didn't do too well either.
Only for the discounters like TJX, they own Marshalls, and TJ Maxx. They did pretty well. Ross stores did okay. Family Dollar reported yesterday. They've been squeezing out their discretionary, but it's really just a discount story at this point.
Yesterday was July the 8th, if you're keeping track of the calendar.
Sorry.
Retailers then are in like the midst of their worst losing streak in 9 years, as I understand it.
In terms of what?
In terms of sales.
Oh, sales? Yeah. I don't know the record books right off the top of my head, but it's been a bad run, definitely.
Yeah, but is the story the same for the retail stocks? Because last time you and I talked, they were doing a turnaround. They were actually trading higher.
Yeah, we could go back to February when we were talking, and it was just the reaction that I saw to the stocks that started, or the retailers started reporting as far back, January. The reaction wasn't negative. They were coming out, retailers figured out they have to really just slash costs. The top line was coming down, but they were able to beat earnings estimates because of the cost savings. Now we're starting to see that the stocks aren't responding in a positive way to this type of news. For the stocks to perform, they really have to bring in that top line, and that's just not happening.
So that rally has been curtailed, that rally in retail stocks?
Yeah, it's probably been a month, maybe 5 weeks that the stocks have been pretty neutral, not really giving up. Or you've seen stocks that have continue to do well, their stocks have held in, and those that haven't have started to sell off. So you're starting to see a separation. So
what did the market miss then about the retail stocks? What were they misreading? Were they misreading anything when that rally was going on? No,
it was more the negativity had built up so much that it was more than priced into those stocks. There was a heavy short selling base in those stocks. So when any kind of less negative news came out, as it did from March through May or June or whatever, there were so many people already short. The bad news is already in. Any kind of buying interest really just shot those stocks up. And you saw gains go from like $1 up to $4 or $5 on a lot of different names.
So as you look ahead on the retail horizon, what concerns you most about retail stocks?
Right now, they're pricing in a second half recovery that I just don't see happening. Retailers themselves are scared. We're coming right up on back to school season, and then right around the corner is the holidays and Christmas. And if people aren't in the mood or they don't have the ability to spend, then it's going to be another tough second half of the year.
There's always that possibility, as you've said here more than once, that consumers have just permanently reset their buying habits, their spending habits.
Absolutely. And we see it in these discounters who are, even though the consumer's trading down, you could almost say the discounters are trading up. They're making their stores more palatable to people who normally wouldn't shop in a discount store. They're offering more name brand merchandise that couldn't sell at full price but is able to sell at a discount. So they're freshening them up, making them look newer, cleaner, bigger aisles, just making a better shopping experience.
So aside from the monthly sales figures, aside from the unemployment numbers, any other data that you look at that maybe you try to use to gauge retail performance?
Store traffic is usually pretty big. Last year, and even through the first part of this year, traffic was still okay, but it seems like it's really starting to tail off, or it's been trending downward, and except in a Walmart or a Costco, other discounters.
And you think that's more than just a seasonal factor?
Right. I think that just, people are shopping. They're telling you what they're doing with their feet. Unless you're running a major discount or it's something that they can afford and they really need to have, they're just not going into the store. There's no reason to.
Your last retail outlook on Zacks.com, you made a point of saying that in past recessions, consumers relied heavily on credit cards to finance their spending. Can't do that anymore.
Right. I mean, that's a completely different area. Consumers are already up to their eyeballs in debt. Many of us, even more than their eyeballs. But with new banking restrictions, credit card balances and limits are being cut, and with less access to the debt markets, people are just going to continue to cut back on what they're spending.
So you feel that going forward here, at least through the end of the year, the best performing areas of retail are going to be in those that deal with essentials that consumers need?
Yes, absolutely.
So we're talking about what? Groceries, medicines, healthcare products?
Well, the warehouse clubs, and then for the discretionary dollars, it's still going to come from the discount stores. A Target or a Walmart, Family Dollar, Ross Stores, TJX.
Are those in your group that your favorite group, or the ones that you pay more attention to because you like them more than others? Or?
I have to pay attention to the entire retail industry.
Any standout performers in your group right now?
City Trends is probably one that's done real well. It was in the low single digits at the beginning of the year, and now it's a $24 stock. And it's another one. They sell off-price apparel in urban areas. So I mean, it's another one that's really a discount play.
What about those game stores that sell the video games?
The video games have still held up strong, but the stocks of video games and GameStop, which I do cover, has not been doing so well. It's a really cheap stock now, but expectations are that the sales are just going to drop off.
So I was going to say, is that like foretelling the end of a trend there?
Well, I mean, we're getting close to the trend, but really buying video games is more of a trade down, because instead of going out and going on vacation or going to the movies or doing something that's more expensive, right, you can pay $60 for a video game and get hundreds of hours of entertainment just on the one game.
All right. Do you own any of the stocks that you mentioned?
No, I don't.
Rob Plaza, retail analyst, for us with another look at this retail group as new numbers come out for the month of June. With Rob, I'm Terry Ruffalo.